trees into broken trees.
Neighbors and relatives clutched onto each other, traumatized and stunned after the tornado smashed their home to bits. The thoroughness of the destruction is hard to describe. The home was mashed up all right, but it was also blown to bits, with the contents dispersed over a wide area.
It happened so fast, something like take about 10 seconds.
10 seconds for all of this wreckage? It blew your house down in 10 seconds?
Sleep, right? I sleep, so my girl up at the bed. So when she wake me up, he said, listen there. I tell her about no time for the storm reach Belize yet, right? So within that space of time there, because I hear the thing, she said, I must have a helicopter. I tell her that not sound like no helicopter. So I get off the bed, open the back door, and I look out. I look at the back door situated over there. Yeah. And I look out, I see the breeze, they come for that direction over that way, right? So, well, that night, you know, reach yet. So I close back the back door. By the time I close the back door, the first glass window pop in. The bed is right next to the glass window, so when I pop in, she jump and she kneel down by the bed and grab onto the window. I tell her let go of the window. By the time I say that, I up on my back by the floor. The whole wall done, everything done happen. Quick as that. Everything.
So, I mean, you didn't have time to do anything?
Nothing. You don't even have time to save your own life if you needed to do that.
Luckily, they did not need to do that. Judging from the sweep of ruin, though, it was close. Even for these housebirds that nested themselves in this beam. While, for the time being, the humans had to nest outside.
Nothing you could do about it. I'm happy to be alive, grateful for that. I can't worry about this part.
And while he took stock of his home to see the whole picture, we followed the twister's path as it cut a wide swath. And about 1,000 feet away, that's where this zinc sheet from his home was wrapped around the tree. This teddy bear was flung 100 feet away. And moving on along the path of destruction, we find that the tornado even snapped a barbed wire fence as it roared through the open area. 300 feet away, here's a part of Leslie's roof beside the snapped tree, the zinc crushed and mangled. This cashew tree was uprooted and hurled 40 feet from where it was rooted in the ground. Aluminum zinc wrapped like aluminum foil as trees were split and snapped open, and those that weren't had the zinc hanging like a mast. At this house, they were already working on the roof, while the old zinc hung around like a ghost.
What make I stand and watch it, it's when I see the huge, like a ball coming, a huge ball coming, and all the trees are getting chopped up. And it's coming.
All kinds of trees were uprooted all over the place, their roots clinging desperately. Now, I know you have your parents here who are senior residents of this village. How did they weather it?
Man, they were just like myself. My mom said she had no idea what was happening. I mean, this thing happened so fast, it was within 10 seconds. I was told, she said by the time she tried to shut the front door, the door blew her back in, and then everything went chaos. The zinc started flying, the door was blocked in, she couldn't come through the front door, she had to climb over stuff to go see my brother down the street, which you just interviewed. So for both of them, they were crying.
The panorama of ruin was difficult to assess because it seemed to be almost everywhere.
We got accustomed to damages in the past, but definitely something has happened and we're beginning to get tornado as its own entity now.
It's 10 people actually that got structural damages, and so I'm glad that my colleague, the Minister of NEMO, Honorable Melvin Holmes, is out here to see firsthand the damage that had occurred here in Crooked Tree. So we are looking forward to get a speedy recovery in this area to help these people to get back on their feet.
Right away, the village council was on top of everything. You know, we went around, we assessed the damage. NEMO came in, Red Cross came in. You guys are here, much appreciated. And nobody, as far as we know so far, got hurt. A few people will have to be relocated this evening, but the villagers and the village council have that under control.
Further east, this iguana seemed content with his surroundings, even if this tree snapped like a toothpick 20 feet from his home. And not only trees, but lampposts as well. And closer to the lagoon, this doghouse was caught up in a tree. but the dog was wise enough to get out in time. Incredibly, all the trees in this yard were wrecked, but the house was untouched.
Lord, I don't know where to start. Anyhow, me and my kids went downstairs to watch one movie. When my neighbor for upstairs holler, I said, girl, I say, you hear that thing there? When I peep through the window, I see the cloud dark. So I said, well, that was a helicopter. I thought it was a helicopter. When I look, I see the trees there on the side over there. They open a shut, and I look, I see all the limb that they ring off, and then when I contrast again, I look, I see all the trees in front of my yard low, and then I start to shut up because I get frightened because I realize there's something different from a helicopter, right? And then when I come out after I pass, all the house stop there, they tremble, my house stop there, they shake. And when I come outside and I look the damage, I say, my Lord, I can't believe it.
I see all these trees beside your house. They're split open, they're uprooted, but nothing happened to your house.
No,
Not one sheet of zinc is displaced. Your vat seems to still be in place. The zinc on your well is still in place. How could that be?
I don't know. It is unexplainable.
And while no life was lost, livelihoods were lost in the uprooting of scores of cashew trees.
Man, I lost my livelihood for years and years. The goddamn cashew tree at least about 10 years old. And they just a bear correct now. I just to get to a good crop every year.
And so, how many trees did you have?
I got over 300 trees.
And how many were destroyed?
At least about 150 and they're gone.
You have to feel two ways, I would imagine. That, man, I just lost my livelihood and a big part of it. But also, spare life.
Yes, it could have been worse. It kind of, we don't really lose no life. But, you know, I feel like I should cheat more my house, man.
As well as my mom is 87, she turned 87 this month, August. She picks cashew seed. She had about 5 sacks of cashew seed this year from these trees right around that you see devastating. Good nuts too. And so it will destroy this coming year. It's going to be dim, especially for this yard where we grew up, the Westview yard in Crooked Tree here. I don't know what we'll get this year with cashew nuts. That's a part of their sustenance, the cashew seed.
Well, we still have to thankful that God no make nobody get hurt through the whole ordeal. But all with crops, the cashew tree we open pan, then the thing we gone. You could see all and in the down. So next year we take a hit when it comes to cashew seed. Very hard because this is where we pen pan for live pan. You know this is a Crooked Tree. Right. Livelihood.
It is a disaster. Nemo does not segregate disasters. We are going to come in here. That's why I came personally quickly. It helps me now tomorrow to figure out how we have to go and help build back house. For people, we have to...
But not only house, obviously. Cashew trees have a value.
The agriculture component, the Minister of Agriculture and Revenue has always been quick to do that. We have never had a problem.
And the correction to the graphic we ran on that story, the man whose home was blown to bits is Edward King Westby, not Leslie. The unofficial estimate from the village council is that 225 cashew trees blew down. According to villagers, one tree gives 1 to 2 sacks of cashews nut, and each sack yields 12 to 13 quarts of $16 to $20 per quart. Bottom line, based on the estimate of 225 cashew trees down, assuming 200 were mature, a rough estimate, the losses in earnings would be in the range of $100,000 a year. And while we all know what the tornado did, what was it really? We've never heard of large destructive tornadoes in Belize, and neither had Ryan Seeley. But at least he was ready to start capturing with his camera when a twister rose up above the Crooked Tree Lagoon. Here's his story.
On Saturday afternoon, the Crooked Tree Lagoon looked so quiet and so picturesque. But hours earlier, it was whipped up into a fearsome, fast-moving tornado. Ryan Seeley captured it on camera.
I was around my computer watching a movie. Then my mom started calling my name. I said, "Ryan, look outside." So I went and looked outside, and I saw a tornado. And then, my camera was right there, so I grabbed my camera and I started recording it.
What did you think when you were capturing it?
Well, first it was like it was coming to my house, so I was like, everyone started to freak out and stuff. Then it changed course and went into a little creek. I went to the rest of the village, and I was like, it was kind of scary.
Now your footage is famous. It'll be all over local TV. It'll be on the internet and all of that.
Yeah.
So it'll be like Belize's first twister footage. How do you feel to have that share in history?
Well, I'm proud. Cause I was like first person. I was like a hands-on view of everything. So I'm proud.
He's proud, but for the rest of the village, they were just in stunned disbelief.
My house is about They're about 300 yards from the lagoon side. So I hear this rolling. You know, I hear like a truck or something they come. So I down to the roadside and look, but I don't see no truck. And like something tell me, look up into the sky. When I look up into the sky, so I see the clouds there. I start to come together, twist up with each others, and I hear when I look, I see the trees and start to open and close. And later on you hear that the limbs that they broke up, mash up like twigs, they pow, pow.
Oh, this time like one big plane one land, I can't stop land.
Oh my God.
One roaring.
It's frightening, Jews, and I think we need to check with the people at the Weather Bureau, because this is not the first time something like this happened to Coquetry in the same area. So I would like some study to carry out to see the time of the year that we can look out for possible tornado in the Coquetry area.
First time in my life I experienced this. Now I know Jade.
But it's not really a tornado. According to Chief Met Officer Dennis Gonges, it is a direct product of Tropical Storm Harvey.
The tropical cyclone is made up of this large vortex with lots of little vortices contributing to this big, large circulation, right? And my feeling what happened is that one of these smaller vortices within the big tropical cyclone circulation made its way down to the surface, right? So we had this small little spinning, this small little pocket of air spinning, and that eventually made its way down to the surface. It was brought down to the surface, I do believe, by rain.
So it was not the kind of tornado common in the U.S. Midwest.
It's a whole different dynamics involved in the formation of those tornadoes. Those require warm air coming up from the Gulf of Mexico overriding colder air over the United States, and that creates that little vortex tube, and that tube eventually points down to Earth. This one, we don't have that same situation here. This was part of a larger tropical cyclone. This has occurred in the past with landfalling tropical cyclones, but we have not been able to detect it because it is masked or hidden in the wider destruction caused by the bigger scale cyclone, if you follow what I mean. These little vortices do cause destruction, but then we don't pay attention to those because we see the mass destruction caused by the big tropical cyclone or the big tropical storm.
Because this type of tornado is so small, there's no way the Met Office can detect it, nowhere to expect it, or give advance warning. And so while Tropical Storm Harvey will become known for the side effect tornado it spawned, the main body of storm did make landfall in southern Belize, but it was of little note. When we got to Dangriga around 1 p.m., people were asking us if the storm had already passed. That's how unremarkable it was. In Hopkins, the shelters had already been closed, and residents told us that they only experienced slight rain. Chief Met Officer Dennis Gonges described the tact that the storm took, while noting that it could have been worse.
The Harvey made landfall just about around midday or shortly after midday, just to the north of Dangriga town. It had a small swath of winds about 55 miles per hour, just 5 or 10 miles to the north of the center, right? And so just one interesting feature before Harvey made landfall was that around the center it started to develop thunderstorm rain cells just about to encircle the center, and that would indicate that it was intensifying. If it had a little bit more room, it would have been in a bit more trouble if it had a little more room.